Have you ever felt that devastating mix of deja vu and disbelief hit you like a sack of bricks? Like the past is reaching out with those familiar, heavy hands, dragging you back to moments you swore you'd never relive, but here we are, on the edge once again? Imagine the roar of Ford Field muffled beneath the grinding silence that follows a name, one that carries both hope and a bitter sting of what could have been. If you're breathing Detroit Lions, you've learned to hold your feelings tight, because every whisper from the shadows of NFL business can either spark a new fire or reopen a festering wound. So if your soul bleeds Honolulu blue and your fingers twitch with every roster update, let me hear you smash that comment section with all the raw, unfiltered passion you've got for this team. Because what I'm about to unfold ain't just another player move. Behind the scenes, behind locked doors and clipped headlines, insiders started murmuring, tension building like the storm before a Detroit summer thunderstorm. There's a player, the one we all knew, the one who pierced our collective hearts and tested our patience, is back in the mix. Or at least that's what this swirling rumor hints at. The executives? They're tightening their jaws, biting back the whispers, because this isn't just any name dropping in the offseason. It's Quintez Cephus. Yes, that Quintez Cephus, the former fifth-round pick. The speedster who once lit up our fence before a gambling suspension cut his Detroit story way too short. The guy who flashed potential, fell victim to circumstances both on and off the field, and whose absence lingered like an unfinished fight song reverberating through the city's bitter winds. But here's the kicker. Cephus spent mere days with the San Francisco 49ers, only to be released after their rookie slot receiver returned from injury. It's a brutal reminder that the NFL's grind is unforgiving, a merciless game of musical chairs where only the relentless survive. Yet, Detroit's name is creeping back into Cephus's narrative, sparking that dangerous hope that maybe, just maybe, this chance could rekindle something explosive. Detroit, a city sculpted by steel and hardship, forged in the fire of decades long heartbreak that no Lions fan could forget since that 1991 season, is no stranger to tough roads. We've stumbled through years of rebuilding, of watching bright talents vanish or falter, wondering if salvation could ever find its way back under the bright lights of the Motor City. From the Caldwell years that left scars to the roller coaster ride of a Matthew Stafford era, our hearts have been stretched thin but never broken. And now with training camp rolling, Detroit's adding fresh faces like Nick Whiteside, who's already making waves in the secondary, a gritty warrior battling to keep Lions' defense sharp amid injuries. But is the reemergence of Cephus the missing piece or a cruel echo of past mistakes? What if this wild card move, this gamble on a player with something to prove, ignites a raw, desperate run that shatters expectations and jolts us awake? Or what if history repeats itself, and this chance slips through our fingers again, leaving us clutching hope like fragile glass, shattered on the cold, hard turf? Could Cephus's redemption story become the heartbeat Detroit's offense desperately needs, a lightning strike against the odds? Or is this just another whisper fading into the unforgiving wind? The questions hang heavy in the hot Hawkins Stadium air as the Lions push forward. What if this moment is the last shot before the window creeps shut? Before this cord disperses like dust in the relentless Detroit breeze? What if the return of a familiar face stokes the embers so fierce that the Lions of Detroit not only roar but charge back toward glory the world has long forgotten how to expect? And if this domino falls, if Cephus clawing his way back feeds the hunger this city has cultivated for so long, you won't believe who's next standing just beyond the horizon, waiting in the wings for a chance to redefine our story. Because, make no mistake, if Detroit plays its cards right, this isn't just about a comeback. This is a city about to explode, not with quiet hope, but with an unrelenting cry for vengeance and victory. The fuse has been lit, and now all that's left is to hold your breath and wait for the storm to break. Shatter the silence. Detroit, this is the dawn we've been waiting for. The moment that will either ignite our souls or crush them beneath the weight of what-ifs. The Lions' story isn't just about gridiron battles. It's about knife-edge resilience, carved from decades of heartbreak 0 to 16 and '08. The scars of Dan Orlovsky's safety that haunted Ford Field, the shadow of Calvin Johnson walking away, retirement carved from frustration for a franchise that spit out stars and kept falling into the abyss. A relentless grind that saw Barry Sanders vanish into the dust instead of a glorious sunset. Jim Caldwell's firing ignited whispers of missed opportunity, wild card collapses that painted us as eternal underdogs, and last season's playoff push that flickered like a dying flame just within reach yet. Somewhere deep in all that chaos, the heartbeat of Detroit refused to die. Now, as training camp ramps up, new blood spills onto the field. Nick Whiteside making plays in the secondary, a gritty testament to resilience, while whispers swirl around the return of Cephus and Ember, a flicker of promise, a player who's tasted both victory and exile, who's been knocked down but refuses to stay down. It's the kind of gamble only Detroit would dare a player with a chip on his shoulder, a redemption story waiting in the shadows, poised to burst onto the scene and rewrite his chapter amidst a city starving for hope, for proof that even after all the pain, the Lions can rise from the ashes and roar louder than ever before, because if Cephus finds his rhythm, if this is finally the break we've been waiting for, what's next? Could this be the spark, the storm that ignites Detroit's long-delayed march back to greatness? A future where rookies and veterans unite in fury to carve out a moment of glory that Detroit fans will clutch forever? And remember those moments of despair, Calvin's retirement, the endless almost, that bottleneck in 2014, when Stafford's gunslinging kept us alive just long enough to break our hearts again. What if, Cephus's return becomes more than redemption? What if it's the lightning bolt our franchise desperately needs, the catalyst to shatter the chains of past failures and forge a new legacy? The NFC North is watching, trembling in their boots, knowing the Lions are no longer just a petulant underdog they've always dismissed, that this city's fury has fermented into something unbreakable. But beneath that fire, under the roar of the stadium crowd, there's a flicker of doubt. What if the ghosts of history haunt us again? What if the fragile hope we cling to, like shattered glass in the rain, slips between our fingers once more, extinguished before it truly ignites? Are we ready for the next chapter? Because what lies just beyond the horizon isn't peace, it's a war, a battle for redemption, glory, survival. And if Cephus or any of these new pieces can turn the tide, who's to say the Lions won't? Finally storm through the gates of their own destiny, leaving their mark on a league desperate to forget their scars and remember that Detroit's roaring comeback isn't just a dream, it's the inevitable storm on the horizon, waiting for the first strike that could change everything forever.